ever since I was young, I freaking loved zombies and zombie related stuff. Like, I think Left 4 Dead was one of the first real games that I fell in love with. That's when I became a real gamer girl. I love the shit out of that game. I love zombie movies. I love zombie TV series. But actually, like, where the fuck did zombies come from? Even like, do you know? Do you know where it came from? I don't know. When in history were they introduced to us? Like, where did it all start?
I can tell you that. Guess
Tell me
what?
more.
That's what I'm here for. Um, I like that phrase though. I will say though, when I became a real gamer girl.
Yeah, it's when I became a real gamer girl on the Xbox with my brother, playing Left 4
Like,
Dead every fucking day. I was like, brother, play with me. I want to play on the Xbox. Let's kill some zombies.
don't let the zombie in the cabinet bite you ass. I'll try. But yeah, original zombie stories. They have come to us from the Haiti, I guess, the little
Heidi.
country, Haiti. I think it's Haiti, right? The country on the Caribbean
Mm-hmm.
island. The plantations from Haiti, and from especially from the slaves that were brought over from Africa through the Atlantic slave trade. So you guys know about it, right? Like slave trade, big thing in those years.
Sadly, we
I
do know
don't.
about slave trade.
What do you call it? The post, like what is that? As a couch historian, as a porn couch historian, I think that's what we determined last time that I am. I think
Yes.
it's like the age of sails, I guess you could call it that, or like colonial era stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And basically, a lot of slaves were brought in from Africa, from especially from a very few select areas. Uh, the slaves were worked so hard that many of them would kill themselves to escape the slavery, right? Like they did not see any other potential other than to commit suicide, which is crazy, but that's what it was. So to
Poor
stop the
people.
slaves from killing themselves, that is yes, exactly. But to stop them from killing themselves, we found that basically either the slavers or the like elders of the slave communities would propagate these stories that if they committed suicide, they could not go back to their spirits could not go back to their home in Africa, which
Poor
is
people to be told these lies, like they had no way
yeah,
of escaping their reality.
yeah, they're like you have to just live until you die from like a death of either starvation or exhaustion, otherwise you're fucked. And that basically started as a thing to counteract the suicides and stuff like that. There's other stories when it comes to this. This is the one I've seen in a few places, which is I guess it's not the main reason, but it's a big part of it. Like they would do this because um some of them just couldn't deal with the hardships, with the stress. It's insane. Like being
Yeah.
being worked on a fucking
I mean, I
plantation
can
is
imagine how fucking difficult it is to be a slave.
I probably could never imagine just because I am fat. I'm lazy, probably not really, but the thing is they would be worked so hard, like some of them would just die of injuries from
Yeah.
like just working on a sugar plantation usually meant you'd probably die very early on. It's like the equivalent of working in a mine, even though you're
Yeah.
working under the sky. Why? Because sometimes people's skin would burn, completely because of the sugar from the stuff that those plantations would often be making.
Their
They'd be
skin
making
would
sugar.
burn from it.
Making sugar in those days was involved like a lot of dumb shit where it's like, yo, let's just burn the shit out of this stuff and let's make like syrup or some shit. I don't
Oof.
know, like molasses or some stuff like that, right? And it basically burned people's skins off, which is crazy. So yeah, working, being a slave. It's not working. It's being a slave. Being a slave was enough for most of those people to want to commit suicide or free themselves, flee, kill people to flee and stuff like that. So they started to make shit up, and some of that stuff basically was meant to stop them from doing it. And the origins of this stuff come from the African. I guess what do you call this? Science, pseudoscience,
Is it
religion.
science?
Like voodoo would be some kind of a religion, I guess.
Yeah. I
I
would
don't know.
say
Like
more
it's
a
not really.
religion than a science.
I guess, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is there a science behind voodoo?
I mean, there's a science behind everything. We just like to simplify stuff and just call it something else. But yeah. um. Also, I guess I can skip that one. The being called a pussy part. But yeah, voodoo became a thing in Haiti because of the slave trade. They brought it over from parts of Africa, especially the areas where it originated. In Dahomey is one of them. Benin and Togo. Those are basically the places kind of where um, like if you imagine the continent of Africa, which is like I don't know how do you imagine the continent of Africa? Basically, as soon as you go down from Europe towards like around that giant
Mm-hmm.
sexy African bulge, it's where it kind of ends that like coast the Ivory Coast, like a lot of the slave trade and ivory trade came from that area. So that place kind of originated the
That's where
voodoo.
voodoo came from.
That's where voodoo kind of came from. Yeah, it's not. I don't think it's specifically like you can pin it down to one specific area, but that's the origins of it. And also, like that area had, they didn't get like converted to Islam early on, so they had a lot of like time to I don't know, perfect it or change it or make it something bigger. And they had all kinds of like they had a fetish trades that's not like a fetish, a sexual fetish, more like little, those little items that they use for religious purposes and stuff like that. They had a giant market in that area where the religion also comes from, I guess. Um, so yeah, basically they brought over all these people from that area. They brought over more than just the people with them. They brought, the traditions, the cults, sex toys. Probably bought sex toys. I think
Probably.
I think there were a couple of sex toys found in Brazil, in some parts of Brazil or Guyana. Like I think that's in.
I mean, you can find sex toys throughout history.
But yeah, that's
Like,
the thing. They found African ones in Brazil
really?
because of the slave trade. Yeah, I
Oh,
think
okay. I didn't know that.
that's fucked up, but I like it. I love it. Bless those people. I don't know. I'm not discriminating. Maybe it's a guy sex toy. Maybe it's a woman sex toy. You never know. Some
I
people,
don't know.
into different
You
stuff.
know, I don't know. You don't know.
But yeah, the voodoo thing it spread towards Morocco and Algeria eventually, but the origin is basically on the Benin coast. Famous area actually had some like interesting Amazon like women at one point in that area that actually sold men into slavery.
Oh.
They sold their own men into slavery at one point. They were like hardcore Amazon African ladies. But yeah, the word zombie comes from that specific area. It's originally called zombie with an N.
Zombie. Okay.
Zombie. And go for the next one,
Yeah.
I guess.
So the reason we have zombies today, like the zombies that we know today, is
Yeah.
thanks to a man called William Seabrook. He was an American oculist, an explorer, a traveler, a
Let me
cannibal,
just
and a
let me
journalist.
you know
Mm-hmm.
what? Keep going. Okay.
What do you wanna
No,
say?
there was this, like one word there, occultist.
Occultist?
The first one. I
Am I
mean, he
saying it
could be an
wrong?
oculist as well.
Occultist.
Although I think it's occultist. Yeah, yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Keep going.
So
Sorry.
yes, apparently he was also a cannibal. We talked about cannibals last time. Like, look back to our previous podcast, guys. It's on YouTube. Uh, and I have no clue why that's funny, but recently, yeah, we talked about the cannibals. I can't talk anymore.
You're fine.
The man liked to travel the world, and right, he was guest at Verdun during World War One as well, but he didn't exterminate 6 million Jews. We're looking at you, Adolf. You're the bad guy there. Basically, he was the archetype of the 20th century writer. Like many writers of the time, also worked and participated in World War One and World War Two, and any other juicy crisis they could get their hands on, because they like to be involved with that kind of shit.
If you think about almost any writer from that, like from the 20th century, almost all of them participated in world wars, and
Yeah,
almost all of them tried to get like into the like, the shit, into the shit, and like
they wanted to
get.
be a part of it and then use that
I
to
think
make their books.
Victor Hugo, I think, was a driver on a car during World War One or some shit or stuff like that. So yeah, all of them liked that. It was the life of a writer, which this
Yeah.
one was also.
So this guy, he wrote a book called The Magic Island, where he described dead bodies brought to life by sorcery by a bokor, which is the African voodoo equivalent of a dark witch or a wizard, and they never had to eat or sleep. So this is kind of brings back to
Witchcraft
zombies
stuff, yeah,
and
zombies.
witchcraft. Bokers have a tradition of using herbs, shells, fish, animal parts, bones, and other objects to create concoctions, including zombie powders, which contain tetrodotoxin. I said it right, did I?
I think nobody could say it even right, or like that's a fucked up
So
thing, but
that's a deadly neurotoxin found in puffer fish and some other marine species, and when it's used carefully at sublethal doses, the tetrodotoxin
I'm so glad
combination.
I gave you this.
You just like to watch me suffer with these words. The combination of the tetrodotoxin may cause zombie-like symptoms such as difficulty to walk, mental confusion, respiratory problems, and
It's fine, she knows how to use it.
high
Yeah.
doses of it can lead to paralysis and coma.
Tetrodotoxin. It's hard. No, it's fucking like
Tetrodotoxin.
if you just let me copy this and pop it in here.
Look,
Also, voodoo is a mixture of the African diaspora, Catholic, and Protestant teachings alongside crabs. That's what we're talking about, Firebird. We're talking about how the fact that the slave trade brought a lot of like the diaspora's knowledge, culture, and stuff like that into some other parts, and it became more popular. So it came closer to, I guess, America, where this dude, William something, what's his name, William Seabrook,
yeah,
basically wrote a book about it and sort of created this like idea of what a
zombies.
zombie kind of is.
So
So
like this tetrodotoxin could cause for someone to appear dead and be buried alive, only for him to wake up later again and be revived.
stuff like that. It's a good one actually. What Rocky suggested they're gonna bring up. I'm not even gonna try to read that. Or I like how I say it. I'm gonna try to read it immediately. Ophiocordyceps.
Ophiocordyceps.
It's I know about it. It's a fungus. I wanted to concentrate more like on the zombies that we know of, like movie, game, like literature wise. But he's not wrong. Like literal, actual, real life zombies kind of exist in the sense of insects. This mushroom basically grabs onto them, latches onto them, goes into the brain, I think, and keeps them alive just so it can um how do you say this? So it can just
Feed it.
basically feed off of it and like spread it because it spreads to whole colonies of
Oof.
ants and it just destroys them. But that's the
Imagine if
thing.
that could like move on to
Spread to humans.
humans.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people were like, you know what, Corona definitely couldn't spread from like bats and stuff if that's the actual thing. Like, we don't even know 100% yet, but
If corona can come from bats, zombie
we
viruses
can
can
get.
come from ants. Oh my god, guys! It's gonna happen.
Start prepping. Start prepping now. It's time, guys. It's time.
End
Be a
of times
prepper.
are near.
The end times. The end times. Um,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
yeah, it's fucked up. Zombies are fucked up. Also, this dude, William Seabrook, go look at him. He's like a basically wannabe playboy that never became a playboy, but was like into writing about famous people and like met like a lot of famous people and like he's I guess an interesting character. And yeah, he wrote about he never really thought about creating this whole thing about zombies. Like he's like most of the time today you have people write about a specific thing. For
Yeah.
him it was only like a small part of the book that sort of described the zombies. For him it was just like one of those things where he's like, let me just spark people's imaginations, right? That's what he got, that's what he was into. But yeah, um leprosy. There was a sickness that causes losing limbs and stuff. Infections to those losing limbs made people create stories of zombies and how they look now. There's a lot of reasons why. There's a lot of like, uh,
Probably like the many other myths we discussed, like
leprosy. He's right about leprosy. Leprosy basically makes your skin look like it's. Just imagine your skin.
yeah, falling apart.
Imagine going on a grill and just someone grilling you for like a couple of hours and then like slowly like picking your like cheeks off your bones or like skin
Yummy.
off your stuff. And that's how sort of leprosy kind of looks. Plus, like yeah, arms can easily fall off, legs can fall off. There's a joke about it in the USSR where it's like, how did the leprosy dudes escape prison? He just ripped himself apart and threw himself out the window.
Oof.
piece by piece, right? USSR jokes, very funny, yes. Um, but yeah, let's get back to this thing because we have more facts that you probably didn't know. So the first movie, that I guess to have first featured and to have first brought like what became eventually a real life zombie, like the stuff that we have, not real life,
Mm-hmm.
but the stuff that we have IRL now,
What we have now.
is considered to be a movie called White Zombie, starring a famous Hungarian actor, Bela Lugosi. Some people might have heard about him. It's like fucking 1932, so don't worry if you didn't.
Yeah, I
Uh,
have no idea.
there's like a couple of like like I don't know, what's his name? Some famous older actors, like the Godfather actor. What's his fucking name? I forget.
You know him. What's his fucking
You
name?
know him. You know him. You know what I'm talking about. Fucking. My mind just blew up right now. Like, how do I not know who the Godfather
I
is?
like how you know him. This guy from The Godfather. I
How do I
kind of
not
know
know
it.
it? His name is on my like, fucking Marlon Brando. That's his name. Marlon.
Okay, Martin.
There's stuff about vampires and this shit too. Like, there's so much stuff that's related to like everything else, like witchcraft,
Honestly,
magic,
all myths we've discussed so far, I feel like are somewhat
art. Yeah,
related and intertwined at some point in history.
yeah, yeah. Brando, the Godfather. Yeah, cool actor. Love the guy. Um, and yeah, the first film was called White Zombie. It was about a witch dude man, a wizard that was a Bokor, I think, but he was
Hmm.
white because white people like to make everything white.
Everything had to be white in
Everything
movies.
had to be white, and basically what happened was, um, I'm not gonna spoil it. I guess I don't know. I think it's one of the no. It's actually another one. I'll tell you a movie fact afterwards. But yeah, White Zombie was the first movie that basically brought zombies the way they were interpreted at the time by people, which were the Haiti zombies, I guess, the ones that didn't really need to feast or eat or kill people. They were just zombified people with lack of self termination. They just do whatever you tell them. If you were a wizard, I guess they would be controlled usually and stuff like that. So at the time, there were like a couple of famous movies as well coming out, Dracula and Frankenstein. Speaking of vampires, and
Hmm.
everyone was like, "Yo, let's make a new movie," and they're like, "This one seems interesting, right? The zombie idea," and they did it. They made it, and it didn't really do well. Like when it comes to like movie wise box office or criticism wasn't like very good. But the thing about it is, it's kind of the reason like you have the $1 million industry today, the like zombie movie industry and stuff like that. Not only movie, video games as well, comic books and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Like thanks to basically partially these dudes.
It had to
And
start somewhere.
they had to start somewhere, right? And it's pretty recent. Like zombies, the way you know them, are pretty recent. I thought there would be like Kato found some information, interesting information, I think, but not like there's not enough of it for me to delve deeper into it. But like the Greeks apparently were like, yo, there might have been zombies. Let's do this specific thing to pin them down and not let them get out of the ground and stuff like that. But that's like so far back. There's barely any shit on that, and anything else that's related to like ghouls, which in some cases were considered to be the original zombies, or kind of like
Yeah.
that's a separate thing I think we should discuss. So yeah, the other stuff, the other most probably the most important thing we should mention here is the movie Night of the Living Dead, which created the modern zombie, the zombie today, because the original one, White Zombie, that just made sort of a ghoul type character, a Haiti zombie. But the movie Night of the Living Dead, which I would highly recommend watch, especially if you don't like hate old movies, because this one's like kind of slower. This one's kind of like
Yeah.
it's made in like 19, I don't know, 40, 50, something like that. It's old. I don't remember the year. But if you enjoy like older movies as well, or just want to see something interesting, I guess where it all started, definitely watch Night of the Living Dead. It was made by in big part by George A. Romero. If you ever heard
I've
about
heard of that
uh,
name.
yeah, if you ever hear about zombies and you hear his name, it's probably because he's kind of the reason. He's not the only reason, but he's a big part of why they exist. So originally, he actually named them ghouls or ghouls, I guess, ghouls.
Yeah, I think goes.
And the first sequel to that movie, uh, like promoted the name of zombie in foreign states, not in the US, in other countries, right? So it eventually sort of became a thing. Um, the movie by Romero, which there are the movies by Romero, which there's a few of them, have buddies come to life as zombies because of radiation that came to the
Hmm.
planet from an exploded satellite. So the satellite had to go to another planet, and it failed, and like there was radiation, and they blew it up. And apparently, the radiation kept growing and growing, and that brought zombies to life. That's one of the assumed things. Um, but even Romero says he doesn't really give them any specific reason to be alive. So there's no specific like, yo, this is the reason zombies exist. So
He
every
didn't
fucking
think it
movie,
through fully.
yeah, he didn't want to think it through. I don't think
Was
because
like, fuck it.
he could have
People
just
won't
been like,
question it.
yeah, if they want to question it, they'll question it. If they want to add their own story to it, they can do that. I kind of hate that, but yeah. Yeah, and most movies like this is specifically related to the Romero stuff, which is the
Yeah.
OG like old stuff. Even though there's like hundreds of movies about zombies, but this is the stuff that sort of brought the like Walking Dead type stuff, the Resident Evil, the I don't know, all these types of like like Space Shadow said, the leprosy looking dudes, and the ones that just want to eat flesh and stuff like that because he sort of made them want that. He sort of like Romero was like, zombies should probably eat flesh, zombies should probably like walk like this, do like this, do this and this, because before that zombies didn't give a shit. Zombies just like did stuff. Zombies were slaves even before this. In the Haiti stuff, in the Haiti zombie like studies that we looked into,
Hmm.
there's basically the reason they exist is because they just wanted more slaves that didn't need to work,
Yeah.
which is
They just
you
want
know
to prevent people from turning into killing
yeah, it's
themselves.
from killing themselves. So they just bring them back from the dead and stuff.
They're just
This
gonna tell
is
you, if you kill yourself, you're still gonna be a slave. I'm just
yeah,
gonna bring you
yeah,
back from the dead.
yeah. That's actually the thing where they told them don't kill yourselves because they'll just bring you back from the dead.
Yeah.
And part of the reason they had like Kato was like, there's this shit that basically makes people look like zombies. Is like you could fool people with that stuff. You could definitely fool
Yeah.
people with that stuff. But yeah, in where's this? But yeah, Romero himself said he didn't really give them a reason to be alive. There's like speculated stuff through the movies, as far as I remember, besides the radiation stuff. But yeah, the one reason why Romero is considered to be the father of zombies is because he gave us our favorite version of the zombie, relatively mindless zombie with the occasional rare exception of the zombie that or monster. Because sometimes movies are just like here's like the one smart zombie, because otherwise movies aren't fun enough, or
Yeah.
like the zombie that stumbles into the stuff uh and like ex machina type shit. It gives you the plot, gives you the reason for the movie to or the game to happen. um uh but yeah, his zombies had no master. That's the interesting part about his stuff, because his zombies were just a mindless horde. They didn't have a master.
They didn't
The previous
think.
ones all had one, a bokor in the white zombie case, or even in the Haiti stories and stuff like that
Yeah.
about slavery.
And in media, zombies have been a thing for longer than most of us can remember, probably. The zombie, often portrayed as an undead, flesh eating, decaying corpse, has enjoyed a popularity surge in recent years as well, with like movies and TV series like The Walking Dead or getting their groove on in Michael Jackson's Thriller videos. Zombies nowadays kind of dominate pop culture as well as one of the top used myths, I feel like.
Yeah, yeah, it's everywhere. It's in everything. Also, zombies being turned into workers. That's a thing that a few movies have explored here and there. I remember Resident Evil for sure had one scene like that, and one of Romero's one of Romero's older movies had something along the lines where they wanted to make zombies basically work for them because they sort of started seeing a trend that zombies could be like made into slaves, which again, full circle, right? Like from where
Well,
it
circle
originated.
back to Haiti.
This time it's like it's beside all the cultural appropriation and stuff like that, because there is definitely cultural appropriation here, like when it comes to that. And besides this stuff, like at this point, zombies just like it's not a thing about slavery; it's a thing about humanity, because humanity is such like the consumerism is insane, and like how we're sort of spiraling into towards our own death or some shit like that. So this is more of a like Romero is himself um tried to, I guess, give us more examples about life than death, really, with most of his movies. But eventually, people are like, just can we just have zombies and monsters and stuff that are scary? Thank you, bye.
Yeah, we just
So
like simple, scary things.
yeah, but what Arcasider said as well, because there are smarter, more intelligent zombie movies, but most of them are just run of the mill stuff.
Yeah, for sure.
Um, I also made a list. I don't know. People can share that. I thought I'd actually ask chat if they want to share their favorite like zombie games, movies, comic books, stories, maybe even. And I'd share some of the movies since I like movies a lot. Some of the most critically acclaimed ones are Dawn of the Dead, 1978. That's is that actually no? That's see most of Romero's movies you can recognize by the name. So the first one was Night of the Living Dead, right? Then the second one I think was Dawn or Day of the Dead or Dawn of the Dead, one of those. Considering I probably should have remembered this, but yeah, fuck it. Like his movies generally have like of the dead something,
Yeah.
in the name. So this was 1978, just so you understand. Like this is not the first one, and it's 1978. Then it's Shaun of the Dead, 2004, which also has a lot of spoofs related to Romero's movies, like the dudes that made that one, which is a comedy technically. They had a lot of like spoofs related to his movies. Um, and he himself didn't know that until someone had to point that out to him. Like, yo, there's memes about you in here. And he was like, what?
He didn't know.
No, like he watched the movie and he was like, this is a cool movie. I like it. Like he was actually a fan of it, I think. But he didn't realize like there was a couple of jokes that the dudes were like, "Yo, we watched every Romero movie ever like a thousand times. Let's make memes about him." So,
That's
Night of the
kind of
Living Dead,
funny.
1968. I think this one's also one of his. 28 days and 28 weeks later, 2002 and respectively 2007. Highly recommend these two.
Yeah, I
Very
saw
good.
them.
Plus, there's an assumed 28 months later in the works. There's another one called The Animator, 1985, Day of the Dead, 1985 as well. Again, this is, I think, another Romero one. Train to Busan, which is a very good one.
I've heard it's a
2016.
very good one. I haven't seen it yet, but I do want to see it at some
When it
point.
comes to zombie movies that are like, it's very much a Korean movie. Koreans have liked zombies for the last couple of months. I've seen last couple of years because I've seen more and more stuff related to zombies.
Yeah.
Um, and stuff. And there's a TV show called Kingdom, I think, right now that's out. That's basically medieval Korea and zombies. I'd recommend that one, but it's not the best ever. It's only like 12 episodes. Train to Busan, also Zombieland and Zombieland 2, 2009, 2019, 10 years apart. Okay. But yeah, that's more of a comedic take on the whole zombie thing. If you
Yeah.
want, if you just want to see Adolf zombies, I'm just gonna change that one word with Adolf. So you know
Yes.
which Adolf I'm talking about. Because Adolf zombies. Yes, there's a Zombieland too. There is a Zombieland too.
Yeah.
Adolf zombies. If you want to watch those, watch Dead Snow. That's basically just like you know, mean German zombies in the snow. But yeah, there's like a ton of movies. There's like a ton of horror movies. Like at least 200 to 300 just movies about zombies that have been made like since basically since movies were made. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like people I guess trend towards this type of stuff. Like sometimes I guess we just all feel like zombies.
Are we zombies? Are we the humans? Actually, the zombies. Mindlessly wanting one thing, what everyone else wants.
A lot of them are pretty obscure. Would you like watch any of these movies I mentioned? Like, would you be interested ever?
Me?
Be
Yeah.
honest with me, because I would like skip like 99% of the zombie movies out there.
Really? I mean, I've always been a big fan of like zombie stories.
Same,
It's
but
always
most of them are
fun.
said.
Like, I've always, I don't know, when it's zombies, I'm always like, ooh, let's see.
To catch my curiosity, like I need stuff like either it's supposed to be good, like as was mentioned, World War Z was pretty nice, even though like it's different than again the books. People would be like, oh, the
Yeah.
books are better, like, whatever.
I
It's
did see
still
World War Z. I don't think I was blown away by it.
it wasn't
But it
crazy
was
good.
like, alright. I was like,
Alright.
okay, it's alright. I did hear a lot of good things about Train to Busan, so I really want to see that one. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, for sure. And
Well,
I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil movies, so you can judge me from here on now as a Resident Evil movie fan, which is probably the worst franchise to exist currently, because they just keep churning them out. Like it's just like they're
yeah.
just making butter constantly, you know. And fucking Mila Jovovich just wants those, you know, the green. She
Apparently,
just wants
there's even a. Should I mention this on podcast? It's something
porn.
that Belle sent to me. It was
Oh,
like
oh,
Loot Apocalypse. It's a parody game on Resident Evil, but it's
there is a porn game that is basically on Steam, and
I bought it. I'm gonna stream it on Discord.
I knew it. I told him to tell you about this one.
Yeah.
He showed it to me as well, and he's like, okay, well, that's interesting.
I'm gonna stream it on Discord at one point in the near future. And a fun little like another fun fact about zombies and the whole shebang around zombies is that the US government has an actual plan in place in case of an actual zombie apocalypse. in fact, the first line of the Counter Zombie Dominance Plan, or CON Plan 888811, states this plan was not actually designed as a joke. So they take it real serious, guys. It's a 31-page strategy in 3 parts. First, create and uphold a defensive plan to protect humankind from mind-munching predators. Secondly, establish procedures to eradicate any threat of zombies. Third, restore law and order to a war-ridden economy. Like, it's kind of funny to know that the US has an actual zombie plan somewhere written down.
They have a plan to stop zombies, but they can barely deal with corona.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I mean, if zombies happen right now, yeah, I don't have a lot of hope for America then, with how they're dealing with COVID.
Europe would get fucked too as well. Like
we would also get fucked.
We'd hide in castles and we'd be like, we don't know how to operate a castle. Like, how the fuck?
How does the castle work?
And like the keepers of the castles would be like, you dummies, these are like fake gates made like recently.
Yeah,
they're, like, not
dummies. We just remade this shit cheaply with Chinese parts, probably. No hating. I'm trying.
We shot on America, we shot on China, we shot on Europe.
Shit on everyone.
I think we've done enough harm today, which is very good.
So
also, yeah, the fucking, what's it called? Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies. I
don't
know how I forgot that one. It's so dumb. It's one of the dumbest movies
Wait,
ever.
Did I see that one with you?
I think you might have actually. I think you actually might have seen that one with us for like 20 minutes or an hour or all.
Yeah, I think I saw part of it. I don't think I saw the whole movie. I'm not sure.
I highly recommend that one. It's so good, bad. It's a very good B movie.
So in this US plan against zombies, they have classified the zombies into 8 categories, ranging from your run-of-the-mill undead created to bacteria and pathogens in the air and evil magic zombies created by a mystic unknown source, to vegetarian zombies who eat vegetarian zombies who eat
herbaceous
foods. They eat herbs. They eat plants. Why these difficult words?
I'll keep in mind for future stuff. If I see stuff like that, I'll just cut the word in half.
They eat plants to satiate their unending craving for grains. Or
if you think about it, for grains.
For the grains. For the gains. Of these 8 categories, only one is based on reality, the potential threat of chicken zombies. Dun, dun, dun. So apparently in 2006 there was an actual incident in Petaluma, California, when the unsuccessful euthanizing of poultry using carbon monoxide resulted in haunted hens crawling out of the piles of their slain sisters and walking around until their bodies died of internal organ failure. Poor chickens.
You see this type of shit though a lot, don't you? When it's like, oh, look at this one YouTube video where someone cuts off a chicken's head and it just like keeps walking.
It still keeps walking.
Like, it's a thing, yeah, and I don't know.
But then
It's
they
fucked up.
actually kept that in mind for their anti-zombie plan. What?
We should just put bombs on those little chickens and send them into the
Bomb the
zombies if they ever have
chickens.
chicken zombie bombs.
No, apparently they want to use, like, people are working on using, like, chickens that we don't want anymore because they're not good enough for to lay eggs or whatever. They're not thick enough to get their meat
They're gonna
from
make them
them.
into zombies?
No. They want to use the chickens to make energy
Okay.
somehow from their bodies. Look, I did research on this zombie chicken shit, okay? And they mentioned it
I'm
somewhere that they want to use
same time.
chickens.
Confused and intrigued at the same time. That's my description.
Yeah, I mean that was me when I read about zombie chickens. And finally, a little throwback to last week's episode. Go check it. Oh, I mean, I guess 2 weeks ago now. Go check it out. Since zombies spread just like an epidemic, the Spanish flu and the bubonic plague are examples of what a zombie apocalypse might actually look like. And
Yeah.
also a little shout out to Space Shadow 26 for giving us today's topic. Do you want to add something to it?
I don't know. Video games are cool. There's a lot of them that have zombies.
I mean, yeah, like I mentioned in the beginning, fucking Left 4 Dead was the best shit ever back in the day.
Left 4 Dead. Every fucking COD game with zombies.
I actually never got into those games with the zombies. I never played them for some reason.
The games I have never played. I've just seen them online.
Yeah,
7
Dead
Days to
Island.
Die, Dead Islands, Dying Light. One of my favorite.
Oh yeah, Dying Light. I've been playing that nowadays. Like recently, I started playing it. It's a lot of fun. I like it.
People have been enjoying World War Z as well.
I got World War Z from the Epic Store the other day for free, like a while back. It was free.
Yeah.
But I haven't played it yet.
There you go. So yeah, zombies are very fucking new. They are a very new invention. We didn't really have modern zombies until basically recently when people were like, let's just invent
last century, I feel like. And yeah, thank you guys for watching. That was today's 5th episode of Bloody Mythical OwO's.